Hello, and welcome to our program, Where God Weeps, a program where we speak about the situation of the suffering and persecuted church around the world. Today we're going to be speaking about Japan, a country where the church is not suffering per se, but does confront the reality of a slow and quiet demise within an increasingly secular society. And this, despite a promising start in Japan with the arrival in 1549 of the Jesuit missionary Francis Xavier. During this period, hundreds of thousands of Japanese embraced the faith, and the Japanese Catholic Church flourished for more than a generation. And then the brutal persecutions of the Tokugawa shogunate began, with the martyrdom of thousands of Christians over 40 years, many by crucifixion, forcing the remaining Christians into hiding for more than 2 centuries, practicing their faith in secret without priests. Despite this testimony, the Japanese church today is struggling to survive. In 2014, Father Ritsuo Hisashi, a spokesman for the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Japan, stated that the Japanese Catholic population had peaked in 2006 at a little over 450,000, or 0.35% of the country's total population of 127 million. Although there is an equal number of foreign-born Catholics, such as Filipino guest workers, native Japanese Catholics are challenged to live their faith in an increasingly non-religious society. To tell us more about the faith in Japan, it is my pleasure to welcome His Excellency Bishop Joseph Maria Abella, the Auxiliary Bishop of Osaka, Japan. Welcome, Your Excellency, and thank you for being with us here today in our program.
Thank you very much. Very pleased to be with you and have this opportunity to share about our experience as a Catholic Church in Japan.
Your Excellency, a quick question to you. You are a missionary, you're a Claretian missionary. Did you always have a desire to be a missionary, even as a young man?
Yes, because I joined the minor seminary, of course.
Well, how old were you when you joined the Claretians?
Well, I joined the minor seminary 12 years old,
12?
Yes, but 12 years old, you cannot decide what you're going to be, But anyway, little by little, you become aware of what does it mean to be a missionary, and then you make the option for this kind of life.
When you came to Japan, what was the thing that struck you the most about the culture when you arrived?
I was coming from Spain. We were finishing our theology studies when the Vatican Council was just finished. I went to Japan in 1973. It was the time of the theology of liberation and all these kind of things. So Japan was totally different. So what struck us, what are we going to do here? What do we have come for here to Japan? What does it mean to evangelize here in Japan? That was, we were both of us, I remember, talking once and again about that. And the Japanese society, this kind of organization, we were coming from Spain, that is not, the heaven of organization. So we met with a very organized society, that everything should be in its own place and all
Almost
that.
like the doors were already closed in a certain way. I mean, I suppose the challenge was, what door do you enter and how do you enter into the hearts of these people?
Yes, that is true. But the very first step was how to confront the language and the culture. This is what the very first.
Is it a difficult language to learn?
When you are young, no languages are difficult. So it takes about 2 years. We take 2 full years to learn the language and the culture, because what you don't do at the beginning, you're not going to do afterwards. So this basic, the language is different, the structure of the language for our own. Japan is a place where most of the people have gone to the university. Now, it is different from a mission in other parts of the world, because the vocabulary that is used by a person is much larger. So then you have to get into
It's an additional step for you.
It's an additional step, And then the writing and the reading, that is an additional difficulty that you have to confront. Yeah.
The Japanese people, I always, and this is my ignorance, I'm very open to say I've never been to Japan, but they strike me as being a very reticent, a very closed, perhaps interior people. How did you encounter the Japanese people? How would you describe the Japanese culture?
You know, close maybe is not the right word, according to me, after being 21 years there and working and living with them. They are an island. The island psychology is always there. So sometimes people living in islands, they find certain difficulty to relate with others. It's different than Europe, that you go 50 kilometers a different country,
Yes.
then you go 300 kilometers a different country. So that is it. That in the islands that does not happen. But I think that they are not close people. No, when you get to relate with them, it comes to a point when really you can experience a positive friendship and even a deep relationship, of sharing your thoughts, of sharing. So, but they are very polite, in the sense that they will try not to disturb the other.
Not to offend.
No, not to offend. Yes, this is something that is there.
And social harmony is
Yes,
a big issue.
The harmony is a big value. Harmony is a big value. So everything that it is an attempt that can destroy harmony is not welcome in the society of Japan. So this is even the psychology of the group. You can see many tourists sometimes the Japanese also going by group.
Yes,
So because this is the tradition of
Yes.
the country.
Yes. How do you reach the hearts of such a society which, as you have mentioned, is very highly educated, in some ways very insular, and secularized? How, as a missionary, do you exercise your missionary role so much different, for example, as you mentioned, if you went to Africa or other places, it's a completely different box. How do you exercise your missionary activity?
First of all, there is a very first step, that it is to love the people, to love the country, to love the culture.
And do you?
Yes. Without that, you better pack and go back. Yeah, this is the very first step. You cannot be in a country, just living with the people, trying to evangelize and criticizing the people all the time. This is not possible. So they have, critically, you have to be critic, because there is not such a absolutely perfect culture. It's not there in the world. But anyway, this kind of love, this kind of really appreciation for the culture and the people, this is the very first step. Once you get that, you try to find so many, even looking from a point of view of faith, many presence of the Spirit in the culture, in the people, in the expression, in their history and all that. So this is something, the very first step. Then you try to relate with the people, my first experience in Japan was a parish with 40 Catholics.
40?
40 Catholics, yeah, 40. There was all the parish. Say, you met the people Sunday, what are you going to do for the rest of the week? You're not going to do transcendental meditation the rest of the week. You have to do something. Then you have to try to be present in different aspects of the life of the people. For example, I was engaged with a group of people that were interested. In that time, we were talking about the third world. We were talking about the human rights and all that. So you get there, and you are there as Mr. Joseph, not priest or whatever. What are you? I am a priest. Oh, no. So I am a butcher. I am a teacher. Whatever,
Is it for a lack of understanding, or is it simply
because it's that, And we go there, and there you get in contact with the people. Then we have our, educational institutions, the kindergarten, the school, that makes you the possibility, they give you the possibility to get in contact with many families. So this is the way that we are approaching the people. And there are some people who look for some kind of hope, some kind of light in their lives, not for any reason. And those are the main points that to start
to enter
a process, of approaching the gospel, of approaching
the life.
The life, yes.
As with every appearances, of course, behind those appearances there are weaknesses, there are fragilities. Where would you say the fragilities within Japanese culture lie in the poverty there, because as we know, poverty is a very wide topic. It's not just material poverty. There's many areas. Where would you say the poverty of Japan lies?
There is material poverty also, not much, because there is a society economically strong. Even the unemployment rate is about 4%, which is almost nothing.
Almost nothing.
Yes. But there are some people that, because of many circumstances of their lives, they are pushed aside, marginalized, and then they have to look for this daily work, with all the problems that it brings, of alcoholism and all that.
Now, would these be Japanese, or are these guest? What kind of population are we talking about?
Yeah, Japanese also.
Also,
Japanese, Korean origin, whatever. But Japanese also. And as a matter of fact, it is the Christian denominations, the Catholic Church and some Protestant denominations that are working in those places, present in those places with those people. And even many parishes collaborating in that. Then there are other kinds of poverty, the poverty of relationship, principally with old people living alone, which is much more and more common in Japan.
As we know, the aging of Japan is an enormous topic for the culture in the country.
Yes, it is indeed. So those people living alone, that need somebody that cares for them, that goes there to talk and all that. So there are different kinds. And then there is also this poverty, that comes for the lack of hope, so being, brought into a society that is going on, if you are just there, that sometimes, you get a little lost yourself within that, and trying to recuperate yourself, trying to be yourself within this society is something that brings some people, to the church also, looking for some kind of guidance, some kind of light, some kind of hope. Yeah.
Your Excellency, how do we understand mission today? I mean, at the time of Matteo Ricci and Francis Xavier, when they first arrived, there was a sense of bringing values from Europe and implementation of these values into the culture in which these missionaries arrived. But missionary work today is a different approach. How would you characterize missionary work today?
First of all, we are not supposed not to think that we are bringing just things that they don't have. Normally, the Holy Spirit arrived before us. So there is a lot of values, there is a lot of things. They are sons and daughters of God. So I think that our accompaniment is principally to accompany the person who is coming, looking for light, looking for hope, to the experience that how good it is to be son or daughter of that God that loves me. So this is the basic experience. It's not that now I was not and now I become. How good it is to become aware that I am son, I am daughter of that God that loves me, and that sent even Jesus to enlighten us and to make us know that we are loved by that Father. So I think that this is the basic thing. How do we do that? Anyway, we do that in the groups of people who prepare for baptism, in talking with the people, even helping them to review their own life, so to discover the presence of God in their lives in different ways, and now to get an encounter with Jesus that shows to them the relevance and the depth of this presence of God in their own lives. This, I think, is the main thrust of our mission in Japan.
In 1547, when Francis Xavier first came to the shores of Japan, thousands embraced the Catholic faith with such a fervor that they gave their lives in the thousands in the following persecutions. When the Japanese person accepts faith, understands the love of God, the love of Christ for him as a person, is there also a memory of this embracing, this body and soul of the faith that reminds us of what it was like at that time when
of course, the memory of our martyrs, that were thousands, is present there today in Japan, And the people know this history, no? Even last year, no, there was the film of Martin Scorsese, no?
Silence.
The Silence, no? That many people went to see it, no? And many people knew the novel of Endo Shusaku for sure, no? But the becoming a Catholic, no? This is what we call conversion, is not such an easy issue. Because, the religion in Japan is also a family matter. No? You belong to a Buddhist family, you belong to a Shintoist family, whatever. No? And this is, religion is part of the family tradition. No? So this make an option, no, for a faith. It is going to have implications in all the dimensions of your life. Is not so easy. Because it's not just to keep the tradition and go twice, 3 times to the temple and really helps the people to live with this basic religious dimension which is in every human being. But now you're talking about making an option to be disciple of Jesus, something that will affect different dimensions of your life. That is one difficulty. And the other one, almost in adult baptisms, the person has to talk with the rest of the family normally, saying, okay, I have come to know that, this is for me very relevant, so I'm going to ask for baptism in the Catholic Church. So the family will give okay. Normally they are not opposed, but sometimes some kind of opposition will be there. So we cannot expect the church in Japan becoming a big church in numbers. I don't think so.
I wanted to come to this question because, in fact, the Japanese Bishops' Conference, when in 2015 the Vatican sent out a survey about the families in preparation for the Extraordinary Synod on the family, the bishop stated, quote, "Generally speaking, the transmission of faith to the next generation is difficult. Japanese society does not support expressions of faith commitment, and some young people increasingly perceive the church as a club for the elderly." The church in Japan is in decline, or not? And, and if so, yes. Is the church in Japan in decline, or what is the experience that you've discovered?
Well, if you look at the people who attend the services in the church, they are becoming older and older. And this is true. This is there. And this makes to the young people the perception that the church is for the elders, not for us. It's something that is already not appealing to us. But anyway, I think that when the churches become older and older, even the activities are becoming less, because this it loses this kind of strength that you need to go out. But at the same time, we are discovering and we are getting into other kinds. For example, what I was telling before, those people, old people living alone. So these elder people who come to the church, they have a possibility, of bringing the gospel to those people. But young people also, and young people in Japan, you cannot think anymore of having, youth ministry in each parish. It's something that is, has to go over the borders of each parish, because if not, they need companions, they need a group, they need to be together. So this is one big challenge that we have in Japan now. We are really.
In fact, again, it was a statement that came out by Reverend Yusihoko Hamasaki, a priest at the Kamigoto Catholic Center, and he stated, quote, "When people start gaining material wealth, they end up seeking comfort and healing in material things." Is the consequence of materialism the issue at hand, or are there other issues playing into the decline? And I would say it's, if I understand correctly from my reading, it's not only the Christian faith, it's also Shintoism, it's also the traditional religions of Japan, which are, we're seeing a decline in all these areas of spirituality.
I think that it is not only materialism. Of course, materialism is there, and we know that secularization also, all this kind of materialism is bringing, is closing the people. But at the same time, for me, is also some kind of lack of capacity of ourselves to grasp with the real issues our young people are confronted with the real issues that they are confronting. Now, because sometimes we are talking about something they are not interested at all. So, to start evangelization is always dialogical. You have to listen to the person, what is looking for, which is their aspirations, their problems, their hopes, and from there you have to build up. So sometimes the church presents as knowing the answers, but they don't realize that the questions have been changed. Our answers do not answer anymore to the questions.
Can you identify, saying not necessarily what the church is presenting, but what are the new questions that the young people are confronting?
One is coming from materialism in the sense that what are we struggling for?
This whole culture of
yes,
work and
the work and materialism, but to struggle to have something we will have. But is this really giving meaning to my life, to my efforts? What are we struggling for?
This is an issue that young people are saying.
Yes, this is an issue, and you can see in their own lives. Then something also. It is this is a part of globalization. I was a very good friend with the former general of the Jesuits, Father Adolfo Nicolas, who was a missionary in Japan. Also, he's back in Japan now. And we were talking many times when we were here in Rome, sharing these superior generals, that we talk about of globalization. But there is some kind of globalization which is that is very harming to the people, which is the globalization of superficiality. There is some kind of superficiality in the life of today's culture, and now there is lack of depth. So to get the people realize of this globalization of superficiality, then they start thinking that something is lacking.
Something's missing.
It's missing. So now they are looking for something, a deeper thing that can really give for them good reasons to live, good reasons to work, good reasons to relate with the people and to go ahead. So I think that this is a very important issue.
I want to also address the question of vocations. Not only is the faith shrinking, but from what I've also read, the vocations are practically non-existent. Is the future of the Japanese church going to rely for a long time yet to come on missionaries like yourself coming from outside? Or do you see sparks of hope coming from within the culture of young people who say, I've had enough, I want to give my life to something else, and in the end perhaps giving their life to the Lord?
Yeah, the vocations is a big issue. Now in the Diocese of Osaka, we don't have any seminarian. Now we have 2 ordinations last March, and now it's 0 seminarians. So that is a big challenge. That means that in 6-7 years, no new priest, diocesan priest will be ordained. Okay, maybe some missionaries will be sent from the Philippines, from Japan, from Indonesia, whatever, But this is a big issue, But one of the problems is the lack of children.
Yes.
So the birth rate is going down. So if you don't have young people, very difficult to get vocations. But the other thing also, it is we need a more positive work in vocation ministry. That's for sure. To make the proposal, because the environment is not, inviting the young people to look into this possibility in their lives. So it is important to make also the proposal. And also one thing that may be in the future connected to this kind of vocation is also all the dimension of social ministry that we have in the church in Japan. Some people going, for example, in the Diocese of Osaka 2 weeks ago, a group of young people went to Cambodia for 10 days, giving some help and all that. So, this experience is questioning them, is making them think about, gives them the possibility even to share the life with the priest that accompanies them for 10 days, not just from time to time. So this is something important.
Another quick question, just coming back again to the history. Is it not puzzling? Tertullian said, the blood of the martyrs are the seeds of faith. In all areas around the world where similar experiences, there has been a flowering of the faith. but not in Japan. And the question is it still to come? And how do you see this in relation to the martyrs of Japan?
Anyway, the martyrs are an inspiration, no? But I don't know, no, if the martyrs are going to be, the
inspiration.
The inspiration that will bring other people, not to Christianity. Maybe yes, some of them, no, but not in big numbers. Not in big numbers, no. For me now, one of the inspiration that the church in Japan is giving also is this kind, of the work that we are doing towards these foreign Catholics or non-Catholics who are coming to Japan. Principally, the young people who are coming as trainees. Now that sometimes they're facing big difficulties, and many people come to the church looking for some support, looking for places where they can really be welcome, and they can share their own experiences. And this is also appealing to the Japanese society.
Your Excellency, you're the Auxiliary Bishop of Osaka. Where do you see you're weighing your priorities?
Now, our priority is to really to help the Christian community to become a missionary community. Now, this is the very first priority. Then youth ministry, and then really to be this prophetic role that the church, even being a very small portion of the Japanese society, has to have within the Japanese society, in questions of peace, of social justice, of closeness to the people who can be marginalized in that society. Those are 3 points that I think are very important.
So you have hope?
Yes, for sure. This is why we are there.
That's why you're there. Your Excellency, thank you for having been with us today in our program.
Thank you to you. And, let us pray for one another,
yes,
so that we can be faithful to the gospel.
We certainly do.
Okay, thank you very much.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having been with us today in our program, Where God Weeps. And if you'd like to know more about the story of the Catholics in Japan, or how you might be able to pray precisely for the future of Japan, I would encourage you to look at the contact information at the end of this program. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.